Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Mike McDowell. Russell Jackman is off today. At each commercial break, we're going to ask a trivia question. We do want to watch SMSN.com, serving Indiana and beyond. SMSN Radio, your home for sports, thanks to CEO and founder Brian Snow. And we do have another special guest who's been with us before. Yes, Mike.
And hello, Indiana. We're going to talk a little about head coach Kirk Cignetti today at the media day, talking a little, saying, well, he was talking about the fact that the Big Ten is the Big Ten, and they're saying they're the best, and right now they are the best. So we can hit a little bit about him. Yeah, special guest, special guy, special man. I don't know if he eats Special K cereal, but just one of the all-time great human beings that I've had the pleasure of knowing. His name is Kent Justice. He is a broadcast extraordinaire, anchor in the Jacksonville, California, Jacksonville, Florida market.
Right. Jacksonville, Florida now, but California born and bred. So, we got both of those things in there, Mike. Thanks.
So we're going to talk to our buddy Kent's coming up next, and he's got a lot to say. He's a brilliant guest, and we love having him on the show.
All right, and also for just a couple of topics we're going to get into later on today, a little bit of the WNBA seems to be hitting the news circuit, but not for basketball, just for other weird things. And Baker Mayfield not too happy with the Bucks. I guess $100 million for 3 years. When it runs out, that's not enough to keep him feeding his family, as Latrell Sprewell used to say. Remember that? All right, audience, stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We are going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, along with Mike McDowell and our special guest, Kent Justice. And we were off the air just mentioning about LeBron. It looks like he's going to go to the Sixers. And what is the first thing that Kathy Hochul does is she posts something about a Le Petier tax. So the super wealthy, because apparently he doesn't want to live in Philadelphia. He'd rather live in New York. Yeah, that's the best way to welcome someone to your state is to say, oh, by the way, we're going to tax the heck out of you. Not so smart. What do you think?
That's something I thought California had like dibs on being able to do. I know when free agents in any sport are thinking about, hey, where am I going to go play? Hey, I've got an offer in California. You've got to weigh in the taxes that are associated. So, yeah, state of New York, is that really how you want to invite potentially the greatest of all time in the NBA to not live in your state when he's living right over the border there in Philadelphia? Yeah, it's that's a tough one to swallow, right?
It is, and I don't know about other states, but the way California does it, at least the way they used to, and I don't think that they changed. So what happens is, like, especially in baseball, where you're so many teams, so many days that you're playing in the state, the way they do it is they don't just say, oh, you made so much money per game in our state. What they do is they say you made so much money completely. And now at the high, basically what the way they do the formula is whatever the highest tax bracket you could potentially be in, that's what California does. They tax you. So instead of saying, oh, you only made, $100,000 and that qualifies as a 5% tax, it's no, you made, $10 million. So now we're going to tax you at the 10%. And now how much did you make? Oh, now we're going to tax at that. Do you understand what I mean? So whatever the highest tax bracket is that they can get you, that's what they do. I wouldn't be surprised if New York does the same, especially if you're in the city. They have a New York City tax as well. Nice.
Well, I mean, I'm sure Kent would love to articulate even further on this subject because he knows a little about this stuff. And it's New York, Kent, pontificate a little bit about what Edward just talked about.
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly, especially athletes who are making large incomes like that, right? Hey, I know that it's a compressed amount of time. What's the average lifespan of a running back in the NFL? We know it's 3 years. Hey, if you're getting paid like an NFL running back, but only for 3 years, how am I going to make that last? Well, part of that calculus is not getting taxed up the wazoo, right? I know that there's been a discussion even about some of the players who've been very successful, had great careers in the NBA, but in Toronto, that's a different taxing sort of situation. And even if you get a max contract, but you're getting taxed at the highest level possible, you've got to be able to offset that, or you just got to go into it with the eyes wide open, knowing, yeah, my $100 million here isn't the same $100 million I'd have there, because after taxes, it's a depressed percentage of what I could be earning.
Do you
It is really a downer, I think, for some of those athletes who have to make that hard choice. Man, this is where my opportunity is, but the dollar doesn't go as far there.
Do you remember Bobby Bonilla, his contract? They're like a
Sure,
lot of
Bobby Bonilla Day just a little while ago, right?
yeah. I mean, it just he stretched his contract out for years, like pay me
Yeah.
later, pay me later, and I'm not sure, probably done by now, but it was like a 20-year
No, he's
payout.
still getting paid. Bobby
Hey, but
Bonilla is still getting paid. That's 30 years ago or whatever when that contract came out. He's still
yeah,
getting paid. I'll look some of that up while we're chatting.
okay.
Yeah. No.
Let me pivot over here. So this just recently broke, not too long ago. So Celeste Keaton, is it Keating or Keaton, co-owner of the Seattle Storm, WNBA. Apparently, she gets suspended for like 5 home games or something, as she's an owner, right, co-owner, because she was harassing a couple of teenage girls, minors, who were just holding signs that were in support of Sophie Cunningham and women's sports. I mean, what is going on? I sometimes you kind of wonder behind the scenes if somebody's purposely trying to be provocative just to put a little bit more WNBA in the news. You know,
Well, I mean, look, that very well could have been calculated, and I think you make a good point because the NBA is somehow trying to say that they are so relevant within the fabric of America's sports watching. It's still suspect. I'm sorry. I guess I admire it a little bit more now. I love what Caitlin does, and what's the league. See, I don't even know very many of the women because I don't watch this sport, but it's elevated. But I'm really suspect about that. Suspect because the fact of the matter is most sports fans that I know, and they're pretty hardcore, um, they don't watch this. So I don't know where they're getting these statistics or how they're creating the narrative, but I truly believe there is a narrative like, no, this is legit, this is hip, and this is a cool thing to watch. Are you telling me that it outdraws Major League Baseball? Somehow they're telling me this. And I just don't believe it.
but just wait till they have a bunch of fights.
We're
On the
waiting for
court.
that.
You remember Malice in the Palace? With um,
Love
gosh, I
that.
remember. Reggie Miller was it? But come on, who
Well,
are the two
Caitlin
guys?
Clark's been
Yeah,
in it.
that,
Jackson. Yeah. And but I'm
Good.
wondering if the women are going to start fighting on the court like that. Go ahead, Ken.
no, yeah, I was just remembering Malice in the Palace, and I don't, I don't have, I mean, I don't have data in front of me here, Mike, to disagree with you on that, but I know viewing patterns certainly have changed. Major League Baseball certainly has been fighting the battle to try and regain or at least capture some of their audience before they walk out the door. I don't know that as many people are watching WNBA as some of the hype says, but I think, Edward, to your point, where the WNBA is in the news for a lot of reasons, not including what's happening on the basketball floor, on which team won or who had a great game. I mean, it's other things. Some would say distraction, but at the same time, now we're talking about WNBA.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
No, I mean Caitlin Clark is the star. She is on the marquee. She is numero uno. I think that's largely why we talk about the WNBA. There's been a lot of aggression towards her, maybe even some racial slabs. Man, just can we get over that? Just let this fine basketball player play the game. Okay, number
Exactly.
one, she's very gifted at what she does. Listen, let's make no mistake, and I'm not going to pull any punches here. The WNBA game is so extraordinarily different from the NBA game and the men's game,
Yeah.
and we never talk about this. But the little basketball they play with is smaller,
And
therefore it is easy.
it's the same.
It's easier to shoot. Okay,
It is.
it is. And I'm not taking away from the athletic ability or the skill or whatever else they have, but there is, to compare the two, it's incomparable.
Well,
So
here's the thing too:
I,
is if and when, because it's happened before, Caitlin Clark gets hurt, that really affects the whole league. I mean, it really does. She's that much of a standout player. Everybody knows her name. Everybody wants to watch her. Just like when LeBron came out. Of course, there were a lot of other really good players to watch. But it's like these women who are like, being cheap shots and stuff like that, they should be kind of told, hey, listen, do you understand if you hurt Caitlin Clark and she misses games, that affects your paycheck like everybody else? It's going to affect it, right? All
Well,
right. Hey, guys.
Edward, what if they had a system more like the NHL, and every team had an enforcer, the Marty McSorley of your team in the WNBA. So if I'm Asia Wilson, who is a star in the WNBA, hey, you're not going to. Caitlin Clark has somebody to say, you're not going to bump her, you're not going
So
to foul her. I'm going to take you out. That would raise the tension a little bit and maybe make it even more entertaining.
good point. Let's go to a break, guys. Today, let's see, we have a bunch. No, these are just random ones. Okay. Which U.S. state, and again, just as a reminder to Kent, our guest, if you know the answer, don't say anything quite yet. We'll wait till we get right back. Which U.S. state has Yankee Doodle as its official state song? I didn't know this
wow.
one. I thought that was kind of a tough one. But
Oh.
you'll have heard of this United States state, okay? All right, stay with us. Oh, 50 of them, right? Okay, stay with us. Sports Econ 101. I'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
Mike's air.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Mike McDowd and our special guest, Kent Justice, who's been on our show at least once or twice before. That's why we had to have him back, because he's so good. First trivia question: which U.S. state has Yankee Doodle as its official state song? Anyone?
I've got to guess.
Go ahead.
I've got to guess. I did not research this in the meantime, but my guess would be Delaware. I don't know why.
I mean, that actually, I would have thought it would have been Delaware too, but that's not correct. Go ahead, Mike. But it is in the.
Boy,
I'm pretty sure it's one
While
of the
he's
13.
thinking about it, Edward, you and I start thinking.
Connecticut.
All right,
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
And
Yeah.
I'm well, it's my education, so thank you.
There you go. Hey, listen, I had 6 years of high school and I didn't get that answer. Okay.
Well, I'm a very bright guy. But then again, I listen. I got to say something. We got our wonderful friend Kent Justice is on the air, and there's definitely one of the finest news anchors in America. Jacksonville, Florida is so lucky to have this guy. He
Thanks,
could be
Mike.
working in L.A., San Francisco, Chicago. I don't know. Yeah, I'll be your agent. I got no problem with
But would
that.
you want to? Yeah, I'm working in a great place, as you know. Northeast Florida is
No, I
a
know.
fantastic place. Yeah.
No,
Can
it's
I
beautiful. But
just-
the beautiful thing about Ken
Oh,
is several. It's kind of obvious. Our audience is going to see this. One thing about Ken, there's several things. He's authentic, he's relatable, and he's community focused. And I just had to share that with everybody.
Thank you, Mike. That's very kind. I appreciate the bouquet, my friend.
That's in the background, Ken, in case you didn't know that.
Thanks.
Yeah, like I said, though, can we trade governors? You can have
Our
Newsom.
governor will be available at the end of this year because he's termed out of office.
Yeah.
So you guys can make a pitch to Ron DeSantis. We'll have a new governor. I don't know who it'll be yet, but we'll have a new governor starting in January.
Well, he's got whoever does has big shoes to fill. Okay, getting on a little football here. So Baker Mayfield, apparently he's not very happy with the Tampa Bay Bucks. He doesn't have a contract yet. He's coming off. Apparently he feels disrespected. He's just coming off a 3-year, $100 million contract. And and when you start looking at all the other guys like Daniel Jones making $40 million or whatever, I don't know what they're offering him, but I think they're kind of looking at the ceiling of what they're allowed to pay versus hitting these extra taxes that we talked about. It's weird. In one respect, I can kind of understand where he goes, "Gee, I'm a pretty good quarterback. Well, how come I'm not getting paid like these other guys?" But on the other end, it's like, how much money does he really need? I mean, I like when guys say, "Listen, I'll take less so that you can pay other guys more, so that we can win a championship."
I'll tell
Just
you, but Baker Mayfield, I recall going, he started his career in the NFL in Cleveland. I went to a game. My extended family's in Cleveland. We go to a game, and I mean, they were so into the T-shirt said Baker effing Mayfield, and that was all spelled out. There was, the whole thing. But Baker Mayfield at this point, I mean, what an interesting career, because didn't go well in Cleveland. And then he had to stop in between going to the Buccaneers, and he's really thrived there. Is he
yeah.
worth more than he's getting paid right now? Probably, given the comparisons to the other quarterbacks that are out there. I mean, it's the most important position on a team. You've got to have leadership in addition to skill. I think he's within his rights to say, hey, guys, pay
Yeah.
me like some of the other pros.
And he's got now he's more of a veteran, so that
Yeah.
helps. And also, it's so funny. I've actually really enjoyed some of those commercials. I haven't seen him for a while. He's actually a pretty good little actor too. I mean, he's funny. He's really funny.
He is funny. Did you guys ever see him with Eli Manning, but where he dresses up as some sort of character, and he takes a bunch of he goes behind the scenes with a bunch of different Tampa Bay fans, and it's real clever. Eli Manning has this show, and he does a really good job with it. But yeah, I mean, he's one of the guys you want to root for because he's got one of those excellent personalities. It's relatable to people.
And he's the handsome young fellow. So that doesn't, just like Kent, handsome young fellow.
Wow, what a nice thing. Young, how about that?
Young.
Okay.
Well, I'll be 67 in January. That's old. I think I don't know if I told you this, that when I was in high school, history was only 15 minutes long because there wasn't much history before I was born.
That's a pretty good joke. It's not
Like
bad.
that one, I made that one up. You can steal it from me if you want. Um, so it's interesting. I was looking at the standings not long ago in baseball. Like, I mean, literally today, there's a wide difference between a lot of these teams. Some of the teams, like the San Francisco Giants, who we root for in Colorado, they're like out of it. And this is in July. I mean, for the most part, statistically, they're out of it. And some of these, like Dodgers are up by over 10 games, and got to look who else. I mean, usually it's like pretty close. But the funny thing is their record, they're only like 623 or something. So, a little better than 500. So it's all the teams that are on top of their division are fairly close in their percentage. But some of
Yeah.
these other teams are just horrible.
Well, I think about even the American League East. So Rays and Yankees have really been at the top of the heap. Oh, and then the Red Sox go on this run, even with the incredible success the Red Sox have had in the last month. They're only 56 and 51. I mean, they're just a few games above 500.
Yeah.
And so, obviously we've seen this as the part of the beauty of baseball and the length of the season is things can change from April and May to August and September. But it goes the other way too. That poor team in Sacramento at the minor league ballpark, those Athletics, hey, they were in first place because they were, one or two games above 500 until the beginning of June. And then they've gone the opposite way of what the Boston Red Sox have done, and they're completely out of. They're as out of it as the Giants are, and some of these other teams
Oh yeah.
having dismal seasons.
That's got to
Giant.
take its toll. If you're used to playing in a league ballpark, and then suddenly you're playing in Sacramento, and suddenly it's like, I mean, I know you're supposed to do your job.
Have either of you attended game there at Sutter Home Health Park or whatever it's called? I went to a game last year, the first year playing in it, and I mean, it's awesome because you're really close to the players.
Yeah.
But it lacks that major league feel.
Yeah.
My wife was with me, and her father was a major leaguer, and she's like, "This isn't major league baseball." And it's hard to argue with. I mean, quaint, okay, but it's not the major leagues in feel, at least.
Feel, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they draw about what 12,000 there max. I mean, I think the stadium seats about that. So, I mean,
I don't
listen,
think even that many, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's 10. Maybe it's
Rays we're getting.
I mean,
and even the Rays, when remember there was 1,100 people sometimes at the Tampa Bay at the Devil Rays They'll always be the Devil Rays, just because that's how they were. But remember, there was only like 1,100 people. When the Rays weren't that good. How many do they draw now?
A little bit better. I mean, the
Yeah, because
problem is, and can't get to
it's
talk about this, but the fact of the matter is, we got the Rays, you got the Florida Marlins. The Marlins built a new ballpark, I guess, not all that long ago. It's a nice yard for sure, but you know, which is surprising, and I don't know if Ken has a theory on this, but Kent, the fact of the matter is, Florida's a great baseball state, but it does not translate to Major League Baseball in terms of fan support,
Yeah.
and that blows my mind. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I've been to the facility there that you're talking about for the Miami Marlins. It's a great park, except it's got that indoor thing. I mean, it feels like, and of course in St. Pete, where the Tampa Bay Rays play, that is a dome stadium. And the first time I attended a game there, I'm like, this just doesn't feel like baseball. Why doesn't that translate for Florida, the Sunshine State? Lots and lots and lots of travel baseball and all those sorts of things. Some great college baseball here in the state as well for Florida State and the University of Florida. I don't know why it doesn't translate there. In Jacksonville, we've got, matter of fact, they were the AAA champions last year. Lots of people get into minor league baseball in that sense, but even that experience isn't MLB.
No,
interesting.
no, you're right. And it's a very nice ballpark here, Edward. And but it's a couple of things to keep in mind. It seems like college baseball is such a big draw in the South. Sometimes college baseball draws the Oakland A's. I'm not going to call them Sacramento, but they do. They do. I mean, they get 15,000. Some of these ballparks are ridiculously nice. So college baseball has really elevated itself, and I think that's something to there's an authenticity about it, that I think people can identify with.
But
Maybe a
it's the
little bit
metal
off.
bat. It's that sound of ball hitting a metal bat that brings them.
Well,
You know, I don't know. Boy, I wonder what would happen if they started using metal bats in the pros.
it'll never
People would
happen.
die. People would die. That's what would happen. Metal bats and aluminum bats
You-
in the majors.
Or
Forget
aluminum
about
bat.
it. Especially this guy from Milwaukee whose every fastball is above 100 miles an hour. He's striking people out. It's 104. What
Yeah.
if somebody squared that up and sent that back up the middle? That poor guy would be done. So that
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think the aluminum bat's coming to the MLB.
We go to the break, Mike, real
Jacob
fast.
Mizorowski for the
Yeah,
Brewers.
he's
Do we have
incredible.
time
Yeah.
to talk about him?
We
Do we have to
will.
take a break?
Let's just do a quick break and then we'll come right back and you can talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Second trivia question. This is more of a geographic one. Which country in Africa has the highest population? Which country in Africa? And you will have heard of this country, I'm sure. All right.
Hmm.
That's our trivia question number 2. Stay with us, audience. Sports Econ 101. I'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
Well, that's a good one.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mike McDowell and our special guest, Kent Justice. Second trivia question. Which country in Africa has the highest population?
Mike, I jumped in on it the last trivia question. You want to go first? I got a guess, but you want to go
Which
first, Mike?
country? I'm going to say Kenya.
Kenya.
Mhm.
No. Kent.
My guess is Egypt.
No. Actually, it's Nigeria.
Nigerian, really? Interesting.
Okay,
Interesting.
now, before you start, Mike, I do have a silly pun of the week. So don't regret past mistakes. Every decision, bad, good or bad, has led to where you are today. By the way, disregard this pun if you're in prison. Okay, Mike, take it away.
Yeah, well, listen, on the mound for the Brewers is Jacob Mizorowski. And, so Mizorowski comes to the mound and just dominates, as the great, Stu Naham would say, whoever, Harry Carey would say that. But we don't talk about some of this guy, what he just did against the Rockies was insane. I mean, he ready for this one? I mean, what? Strikes out 7 consecutive batters to open up the game. Then he strikes out 12 of 13, retired 14 straight after the game, and finished the overall game with 12 strikeouts, 5 innings, allowing just one hit. He became the first pitcher since 1920 to, in the live ball era, to record 11 plus strikeouts while allowing 0 hits through the first 4 innings. That is something that needs to get celebrated. Again, with the popularity of Major League Baseball, I I didn't really, yeah, I caught a little bit of it, but I think that's a big deal. And those types, I think Major League Baseball has got to do a better job taking advantage of these really landmark moments
Yeah.
and really pushing it forward. And they're not. So, but Cat, man, that is a ridiculous performance, and it's something to be
Yeah.
really saluted.
Yeah, I love baseball. I love the pitching side of it. What this guy is doing is really, it is phenomenal. It's just incredible. I think, and Mike, I think you even brought up, hey, they pulled him from the game while he was
Yeah, yeah,
dominating
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that comes down to dollars and cents as well. There's a big investment that the Milwaukee Brewers are making in this young guy, and they want him to last. And I don't know the dynamics of that particular game, whether they were up big or what have you. But I would imagine it, even if it was 1-0 and after 5, and they think, hey, I've got to protect my guy in that golden right arm,
Yeah.
you may not send him back out there for the 6th or the 7th or what have you. And that's one of the big changes that we've seen across baseball in the last decade, of course. Uh, Dusty Baker would have left that guy out there till the 13th inning, but that's not
And
how they
Sparky
roll
Anderson pulled him
with
out.
pitchers' arms anymore.
Remember Sparky Anderson? He had a quick hook. He'd only let a guy last an inning. But also I'm curious about his contract. I don't know anything about his contract. Like, does he get extra bonus pay for how many innings he pitches or how many strikeouts? Be kind of interesting to find that out because that could affect his paycheck too. Go ahead, Mike.
No, but there is a business angle about it, and Ken briefly hit upon it. But the fact of the matter is that, these guys who are throwing 100 miles per hour plus, they dramatically face the possibility of Tommy John. So what does that do? Well, that can destroy a career if they don't get back from it. So front offices are really kind of prioritizing what do we do. So they are property, really. They yes, they're ball players, but they are property to these teams. So they have to get maximum longevity. And I think that's what the front office has taken in mind. And I mean, put it this way. There's nothing worse than a guy going 7 innings or 6 innings and he's got a no hitter, but
Uh,
maybe he's reached the pitch count or whatever. And hey, no, we're gonna yank him. We're gonna yank him. We're gonna bring relief. I mean,
yeah.
you can't. There's nothing better than watching a guy go 9 innings and pitching an entire game, whether it's a no hitter or a one hitter. I mean, come on, those are
Yeah,
the days.
I miss those days. Yeah, I miss the day of the starter that is rolled out there and is ready to punch the manager if he comes out before the 8th inning.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, it's what we saw with Max Scherzer last year. In the World Series and the playoff run was like those pitchers who say, "I'm staying out here because I got a job to do and I'm doing it to the very end." Skipper, get back in the dugout. But the dynamics have changed there, and especially as we're talking about Mizorowski, there are some other electric arms out there that management is making a choice on. Hey, we're going to protect that. It's more important than the history books or
Yeah.
another potential incentive that player might meet by
I mean,
throwing a few more innings or getting a few more strikeouts.
on the opposite end, I went to the last game of the season for Mark McGuire's rookie season. He was sitting on 49 home runs.
Yeah, I recall.
We were playing the Kansas City Royals, and I think it was Hal McRae, if I'm not mistaken, was the manager of Kansas City. I be mistaken on that, but I think he was the coach or the manager. And he purposefully walked him, even though there was like the game didn't matter, the
yeah,
situation didn't
yeah.
matter. His attitude was, I'm not going to let this young guy get his 50th home run on my team. And I was like, man, that to me, that was not very high class at all. It's like, you know what? Be a man, get your pitcher out there, pitch
Yeah,
against him. I mean,
yeah.
if there's a real situation where you really need to walk a guy intentionally, I get it. But if it doesn't have to happen, why do that to him, the fans, and everything else, just for an ego thing? Don't let
Yeah,
and
no, you're right. You need to challenge that manager's man card there because yeah, you don't want him to home run, then get him out.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That was my
yeah.
very short rant on that topic.
Or at least
Thank you.
him in the head with a pitch. No, I'm just kidding.
Right, put in his ribs. That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, hey guys, let's make a quick transition, Will, and this is perfect for our friend Ken Justice because he spent a little time in what is considered truly one of the marquee football towns in America. College football camps are
Yeah,
here and now, they're starting. And so, Media Day today in the Big Ten. Kirk
yeah,
Cincinnati, the defending champion of Indiana, the head coach says, listen, Big Ten versus SEC. By far, the Big Ten is, I love this quote, we don't cry a river. Listen to this. This is good.
Oh, you're cut.
But,
Yeah,
he
you better repeat
basically,
that, Mike. You froze up.
he says, what?
You froze up a bit. Go ahead. Say that
Yeah,
again.
yeah. Let me repeat something. So basically, what he was talking about, he says he was responding to the ongoing debate over the Big Ten SEC, and he says, he argued that the Big Ten has earned its distinction with the national championship. He praised the Big Ten as the toughest conference in college football. And I like this one, Ken. Got to get your take on this. He took a shot at the SEC Logan. It just means more. Well, he's saying in the Midwest, success is earned, not given. And I just think that was quite a little take and shot because it seems to me that the Big Ten is creeping up on the SEC. And there's a true battle. Those are your two conferences, and the rest of them are just.
yeah. Who are the last three national champions? Let's go backwards. So is Indiana,
Yeah.
Michigan, Ohio
Michigan.
State?
Ohio State?
Yeah, I think
Did I
so.
just
I
say
think
three
so.
Big Ten teams? Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So and certainly where Mike, where you and I live here in the southeast part of the America, yeah, there are those fans, Southeast SEC. But to Coach Signetti's point, the Big Ten can just say, "Hey, scoreboard, check it out. We're the best conference, and we don't have to brag about it. We'll just let the work on the field between the lines do it."
It's 100% true, and
Mhm.
they until they're and what was it? They're trying to say that Ohio State opens up against Ball State. Well, the Big Ten doesn't play a tough schedule, but I got to tell you, if you look at the SEC overall, yeah, you got your top four teams that are super elite, right? But they play a lot of cupcakes too, and
Sure.
like the Wake Forests of the world,
Yeah.
Mississippi State. Come
A
on.
few years ago, I went to a game at Georgia. Oh, I can't wait to go to this game at Georgia. They were playing App State. Okay, all right. I mean, go Bulldogs. Of course, you're going to win by 50, but it was Appalachian State.
But
Yeah,
didn't that
right.
beat Michigan that one time? They had that
I missed
one
that, Edward. What was the question, Edward?
because Appalachian State beat Michigan, or they beat some huge
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
kind of a fluke.
And correct me if I'm wrong,
Every
guys.
swirl, and something like that.
Oh my God. Go ahead, man.
Wasn't App State at the time Division II when they beat Michigan? Were they D2 at the time
I don't
and
remember.
jumped
I
into
just
Division
remember
One?
Appalachian State that they pulled the big upset.
Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. It was awesome. I love when that happens. Happens
Yeah.
more in basketball than it is football, but
Sure.
team out in Georgia that I was a play-by-play guy for, Valdosta State. They played Georgia Southern and beat them 45-10, and then the year later they played FAU down in Florida, and they beat them 45-0. So for about a decade, no Division One team would play them, a Division Two team, because these guys are loaded with D1 players. I mean, they've got a chip on their shoulder. They got players from Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, Georgia. I mean, USC. When I was calling play-by-play, we had our running back was a 4-star who was injured from Kentucky. Come on. I mean, that's what people don't realize is just how good Division II football can be. I'm not saying that they don't beat the D1 teams regularly, but it does happen. Okay, that I shut everybody up.
There you
There
go.
you go.
One more thing in the news, Tony Romo, he got arrested. Was it DUI or driving while intoxicated, driving under the influence? He got arrested for something. What did he get arrested
Yeah.
for?
Yeah, it was in Wisconsin, and just Wisconsin law enforcement calls it something different than DUI, but it's driving under the influence. And I just saw today that they said, I guess in the police report, that he had an open container when he was arrested. I didn't get a reading on how drunk was he, or what the blood alcohol level was. Um, but it certainly, these kind of things always gather more attention when you're a public figure, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean,
it,
is he
it
getting
it
hurt?
happens. It shouldn't happen. It's a terrible thing. Thank God nobody was hurt in this.
Yeah,
But because he's Tony Romo, we're talking about
yeah. And it's amazing how accurate he is when he's doing play-by-play, or more commentating. And okay, now watch this. You're going to see a long pass, blah blah. I mean, he's just amazing how he's got a coach's mind. Go ahead. Mike.
And real quickly, I feel sorry for Tony because he's a real good guy, and he is. You root for him. He's affable. He's warm. To be honest with you, I saw the videotape. I'm sure Kent did too, and he was very cordial. Embarrassed. He may have a problem. He just needs to get some help. This stuff happens every day, everywhere, every place. But yet, as to Kent's point, he's a pro athlete and he's a commentator. So yeah, you put the spotlight on him, you embarrass him, and overall it's really sad because he's a good dude.
All right, hey guys, going to our last commercial break, and then you guys are going to love my thoughts for the day. All right, so
it.
here's
Okay.
our third trivia question. What is the longest side? We're going to see how good at math you guys are. What is the longest side of a right triangle called? Do you remember your geometry? What is the longest side of a right triangle called? Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with some closing comments and some very funny thoughts for the day. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mike McDowd and our special guest, Kent Justice. All right, guys, put on your math hats, your geometry hats. What is the longest side of a right triangle called?
I
Hey,
would
what
like
happened to
to
your?
answer this one, please. I
I didn't
would
even
like
know.
to answer. So I was not. I'll tell you this. As a student, I didn't think I was very good at math. As a matter of fact, it took me figuring out that learning math would help me calculate an earned run average to go, hey, I like math. But I was pretty good in geometry. So
Okay.
the answer to this question came to me, and I said, "Is that right? Yes, it's right. It must be the hypotenuse."
It is the hypotenuse. And what happened to your hand? I just noticed it.
Just a little minor surgery, and I thought it'd be a good way to like get ready for training
Uh,
camp and pro football.
That wouldn't happen to be trigger finger, would it?
It was, yeah, trigger
Because
finger release surgery.
I've
Thank
had
you.
that. Yeah, I've had that on a few of these,
Yeah.
and it's amazing how that happens. Okay, you guys ready for our thoughts for the day? These are pretty good. So my wife opened my car door for me, which I thought was a very nice gesture, and it would have been had we not been going 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And I
No
joined
seatbelt on, right?
exactly. Yeah, she helped me off with my seatbelt first. That was really nice of her. And I joined a gym and I asked, which machine should I use to impress the ladies? And the guy said, go try the ATM outside.
Yeah, right. That's a good
Good,
point.
good, good,
Um,
good,
um,
good.
Practical advice there from the gym.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
but
indeed.
I get a lot of these from the my dad jokes guys, the
Yeah.
TikTok doc jokes or whatever. Go ahead, Mike. We got 15
Yeah, you
seconds.
want to
Go.
plug anything? Any projects or anything specials going on, real quick?
Well, so my role here in Jacksonville as a news anchor, and part of the reason I was interested in talking with you guys today, I've got a podcast called This Week in Jacksonville Business Edition, and what we're focused on is economic growth and development in this area of the country. But we're also looking at statewide issues and some national issues too. Coming soon, I did an interview with the vice president from Citi, or it as Citibank, on not just growth here in the area, but widely across the country, and what's happening in these changing conditions. The other thing I'll tell you is love to cover politics And we are really hoping that in this pretty important election coming up this fall, that we'll be able to host a debate between the candidates for governor, the people who want to replace Governor Ron DeSantis here in Florida. And if that's possible, then I'll get a chance to moderate that, and I'm looking forward to the possibility.
We're looking forward to it. All right, audience, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, military. Kent, you the man.